There we go. Hello, folks. You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff, Tequila Aficionado Media on all platforms and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That guy out there is
Jay Silverman, Tempe, Arizona.
Hey Jay. What's are you melting yet down there?
I haven't been outside too much because it's like 107.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not bad. That's what it is. That's what it is in Vegas. I think last time. Yeah. Today, folks, we have a really interesting Sotol. This is so brand new, you probably haven't even heard of it yet. But if you're on Instagram, check them out. It's Casa Medanos Sotol. It's got.
I love this bottle. I love the details here.
Yeah, it's got. There's a lot of information. Of course, it's all in Spanish, and they moved heaven and earth to get this to us and to get this to me. That's how new it is. Jason was just delivered his bottle, I think, late last week, and I just got mine the other day. Okay, but we have been in contact with Isaac Montes, who's the, I guess, brand owner and possibly importer. I would imagine that they're not importing yet into the U.S., but I could be wrong. Anyway, as usual, we're gonna taste it first. Then we're gonna give you all the stats and stories and show you the label and all the really cool little details on this label. Now, I was interested in it because the label says it's a Joven, but I wasn't sure exactly what that meant because I as you can tell, this Sotol has a little bit of color in it.
Right, it looks like a Reposado.
Yeah.
At first glance.
Ooh, hello. Man, I just love Sotol. It's it really is close to my heart. It was one of the first.
Easier to find good Sotol now.
Yeah, it is. Well, you and I have done a few together already this year.
Yeah.
This one is at 80 proof, folks. So it's coming in at a lower ABV. I'm using my Stasel Jarrito that I normally use for mezcal. But as you can see, it does have a little bit of color to it. And, oh, look at those legs and tears.
We go with the T-shirt here.
Oh, look at that.
That's a white T-shirt.
Yeah, get it up to the camera. Get it up close to your camera.
Yeah.
There we go.
There it is.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. This Sotol is very interesting. I just think that I'm just so impressed with the packaging and the details. I know there's some sand. It's almost like a picture of the sand dunes of, I believe it's called the Samaluca sand dunes.
Sand dunes. And, of course, it doesn't mean it's sandy or anything, but
wow, that's some
really thick legs and tears, just beautiful. You can just tell it's going to have some really decent structure to it. Wow, look at that string of pearls, man. They are just clinging beautifully. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You're using. Oh my gosh, you're overdressed. You're using those Sergio Bormiolis.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everything tastes good with that glass, but it's such a nice color. Actually, it's really
Well, what did you find out?
Natural light.
Now right now the Sotol is sort of kind of in its infancy as far as processing and things like that. So. There are Sotols that are using the term Joven like they do in mezcal, which means it's unaged. But in this case, it looks like it's been aged. And so if they're borrowing benefits from the tequila industry and the labeling, Joven means that it's a blend of Blanco and sometimes Añejo, Extra Añejo, whatever. So what did you find out about this? Because I thought maybe the label had some gold foil. It's how the labels make it look darker, but...
Well, so what makes the Joven, from what I understand, is they're using a barrel of aged Sotol, an empty Añejo Sotol barrel, something that was resting Sotol for 5 years. They've bottled that up, and they've taken this Joven and let it mature in the barrels for just a few days, 3 days, which is a very unique process. I've never really heard of anybody doing that kind of approach before, but it sounds pretty good. I mean, it's got maybe just enough time to give it a little tint and still retain all the fresh flavors,
Well, if it was an
without
extra,
actually aging.
so it was an extra añejo that they drained the barrel from. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
just a former extra añejo Sotol barrel.
Oh, so it's a four. Okay, all right.
So, that's what was in there first, and then now they are putting the Joven in there, from what I gathered. So
Okay, so this
it makes
could
it look like a nice light reposado, but it's got a very pretty color. It matches the label. It's kind of smart too, because it matches their gold and black label. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
That makes the packaging really, really kind of kick ass, honestly.
Well, we're gonna taste it, and then we'll give you even more details on what we discovered. It was fun. It was fun doing that today earlier. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful.
At first nose, it really kind of grabs you with some really fresh tropical fruit, and it's pungent. It's that, and you can tell it's good quality Sotol just from the aroma. But it's got this like tropical fruit that just kind of grabs you.
It's even if it was a higher ABV, it's still the scent and the aromas are still the same. They're still intact of the plant itself, because the plant tends to be very fibrous anyway. If you're familiar with Sotol, it's not an agave. It's from another family, but it's a Mexican agave spirit with its own denomination of origin. This one is coming from Medanos, Chihuahua. That's where it's being distilled. So, and we'll give you more information on that. Wow, it's got a minty it's got some mint and herbaceousness as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's got a very interesting complex aroma. It's got a lot of it's basically like a garden of a variety of different aromas popping up.
Earthiness. If you're familiar with Sotol coming from Chihuahua, from the 3 different states that it can be made, each of these regions are different. Literally, as far as I'm concerned, terroir. It's more of a true.
Almost get like a rum, mint, sugar kind of thing from the natural sweetness. It's very interesting, very nice, very nice. Let's
dive in, man. Let's taste it. Let's see what we got.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Wow, great finish. It's kind of dry on the back end of the palate.
Wow, it's really going down a different avenue than other Sotols I've tried. It's got a very unique characteristic. It's delicious. The herbaceousness comes through more, and it doesn't have a lot of sweetness, but it has this like amazing kind of. It's just, yeah, it's hard to describe. Sotol's always a little hard to describe, but once you've tried it, you kind of understand and where it's going, and what makes that plant special and unique with the Daisy Wheeler Ron. But it's excellent.
Yeah, this is I'm gonna have to go on a second pass here, but it's very fibrous, very plant-like. It's earthy.
Wow.
Everything that this plant has gone through is in this fruit. It's once they hack the leaves off. Now this is a bulb, so basically the roots stay in the ground, and it regenerates. It just naturally does. You see a lot of these plants up in Ventura County, Santa Barbara. All the hillsides are covered with Sotol. If you're living in California, so it's a lot of places in California use them for ground cover, to keep from heavy rains or fires that maybe have ruined the hillsides. It keeps them from sliding into down to the freeway. So that's what this plant is. But in every region that it grows in, it really tastes differently. And you and I have had. I know I had a Sotol from Durango, one from Coahuila, and this one is from Chihuahua. And each of these are just slightly different. Of course, the hand of the maker makes a big difference as well. This one is so bold though at 80 proof. This almost behaves like a higher proof, because Sotol Salvaje was at a higher proof, but it was much sweeter if you remember.
Yeah.
And this one had, because it's rounded off in an extra añejo barrel. They're still calling it a Joven.
You get this really nice vegetal.
Like a Joven Suave. You know, like Herradura would do a Blanco Suave. They would age it for like 28 days right before they have to call it a Reposado, and they take it out. At least the old Herradura used to do that. So this is considered unaged, even though they're resting it and rounding out the edges in an extra añejo barrel, which that accounts for the color.
Yeah, just a splash of color.
How many days did they say?
3 days. Yeah.
It looks like it's been there longer. It really does.
Well, they're not. What would happen in 30 days, and then you take a barrel that's really been, a really dark aged barrel. I could see it. I think they did it to match the label a little bit too. But it works perfectly. This Sotol has so much vegetal and fruit going on. It's really hard to like pin down exactly where it's going, but you get like hints of cucumber, sage, and like almost like fennel, and just all the. It's like it reminds me of like a garden. It's really
very savory.
Nice, yeah, some nice interesting notes in there. You could try this. You could really enjoy this with a lot of food and fruit and cheese and nuts. It's a great spirit.
I have a sample, and then we did it earlier this year. You folks could probably find it. Eric Zandona and I tasted a Sotol con víbora. So there was snake in it, and it had the same color. And I said even then to Eric, I said it's got the mouthfeel of a reposado. This mouthfeel it's like Jason said, it's very savory, and it's almost like, well, I remember the Sotol con víbora. It was almost like having chicken soup. You know, it's like it was kind of soupy, savory, like a sauce. So yeah, you're correct. This would be great with like Italian food. It doesn't even have to be Mexican food. You could pair this with just about anything. Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. So here's the ins and outs. First of all, if you look at the label, it gives you the coordinates. And I haven't punched in the coordinates yet on Google Maps, but they're right here, which is where they've harvested the Sotol. And I was looking at the signature. The Maestro Sotolero is Marco Antonio Perez, and I'll have to find out his last name here shortly. So I looked it up, and I thought, well, Perez was Don Cuco Perez, the Jaques family, the patriarch of the first original permit to make Sotol was Don Cuco Perez. So I texted our friend Jacob Jaques, who makes Por Siempre, and he distills Don Cuco Sotol, and he said yes, they're using our Vinata, his distillery, and he says we're playing a lot with the first distillation. And then it says, if you look at the label, it says it's triple distilled. So it is a triple distillado, triple distilled, and that accounts for what they were doing with the barrel. I think that whatever mezcal they were used, or whatever Sotol they were using, maybe it was they wanted to come in. It was such a bold lot that they wanted to come in at 80 proof instead of at a higher proof. I'm kind of dumbfounded. This is the first lot right here. It's lot one. I think you got bottle 180 and I got 181. I think.
Yeah. What a great stuff! This is excellent. I'm impressed.
Yeah, me too. This is
a promising brand for me. I would say for sure.
Well, it turns out that Marco Antonio Perez is a family member related to the Jaques family. So I would imagine they're cousins. And
did you notice established 2020? It's still very new.
Yeah, very new. It's the pandemic vintage.
Yeah. What a great attention to detail with this label, though. I mean, they have the Facebook and Instagram logos. They have the coordinates. They have a little story about the Samalayak Yucca, which is the sand dunes, and then the artwork with the sand dunes, and
it's
Lirion artwork as well.
It says una tradición de 6 generaciones de maestros sotoleros. So it's the 6th generation, which makes sense to me because Jacob is the 5th, and this gentleman Marco Antonio would be the 6th generation sotolero.
If this stuff makes it to New York, they'll do really well in like places like the Cabinet and all the new wave of mezcalerias in New York City. If they got a hold of this, I think they'd be delighted.
Oh yeah, and it's I would imagine it's very cocktail forward as well. I mean, we're drinking it straight, but you've already paired it with all kinds of dishes, or at least in your mind. Wow, and then it because of having it been rested in that barrel, it's coating your palate with the plant. I mean,
yeah,
this is.
Well, it really does have that earthy, almost like cucumber, mint kind of freshness, even though it's been rested briefly. But yeah, really, really nice, well-rounded spirit. That's really well-made stuff.
Yeah,
they definitely have some friends, some friends at the Venata steering them in the right direction for a new brand since 2020. I'm impressed.
Well, if we're impressed, if I'm impressed, you're impressed. It's a brand of promise nominee in the Sotol category, folks, at 80 proof. But this is bold. It's got great mouthfeel, excellent structure. It behaves beautifully. I couldn't see. I'm sure it would stand up to cocktails. We actually did a tasting of one that had won last year, but we were never able to actually get a tasting face to face, and then, so Alex and I did it, and it was more of a higher proof. Sotol from also from Chihuahua, but it's a much higher proof. And I gotta tell you, I've never had a Sotol cocktail. They made one there we did the tasting live at El Cholo.
Oh yeah,
in Pasadena, and a Sotol cocktail. Holy cow, man! More refreshing than anything I've ever had.
They have some cool recipes on their website. I think their website's still being under construction, but I took a look. I think it's like partly built, but there's going to be some Sotol cocktails on there. But if you live in California, Arizona, or Texas, consider yourself lucky, because I know they have some friends in helping grow the brand in Texas, a little bit here in Arizona. So if you keep your eye out, I don't think it's on the market yet, right, Mike? But
as far as I know, it's probably just Mexico only. But
when it gets into the right hands, it's going to be worth grabbing a bottle. It's really nice. I think.
Do we have a price point at all? Do they give us a pricing?
I don't think I have any idea, because I don't think they've really sold it. They're not. It's not really for sale anywhere yet. So.
Okay.
Just be on the lookout. I would definitely be on the lookout if you're ever in the market for Sotol. And I would guess that probably California, Texas, Arizona would get there first with those connections that I've heard that they have going.
Well, you're one of them.
Yeah.
And we're gonna see if we can't, build a little market for these guys. It's got what I love is this Sotol has pedigree. Maybe it's brand new as a brand, as a mark, but it's got 6 generations of sotoleros from the family that got the first permit to produce Sotol and export into the United States. So this is a given. This would be like an instant classic. Okay, folks. It's Casa Medanos, and if you've had it, if you're watching us on YouTube and you've had it before, give us a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us a like, so that way, the algorithm works for us and works for you. And, that's our take on Casa Medanos. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That guy out there is
Jay Silverman there in Phoenix, Arizona.
And you've been watching and listening to Sipping on the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media, all of our channels and networks. Don't forget to follow Jason at Silverlight Drinks, right?
Senor Silverman, yeah.
Senor Silverman, and
Senor Silverman at Senor Silverman or Silverlight Drinks.
Okay, either one. Those are his. And
Pandemic business is it's still there in the background.
of course it is.
The
And
drinks
then,
to
of
go.
course, follow us on Instagram as well. And whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.